Okay, so after about 13 days of rain, 14 if you count this morning, we finally got some sun, and it's only going to last for a few hours before the next front comes through tonight. And then this weekend, they're talking about a tropical system developing in the Gulf of Mexico. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a tropical storm or hurricane developing out there. It is supposed to bring us more rain. So I've only got a few hours of sunshine before the next front rolls through. So today I'm going to head over to Savannas Preserve. It's a state park. There's actually 3 parts of it. 2 are in Port St. Lucie, and the other part is actually in Fort Pierce, which is a combination state park and RV campground. Not doing any trails today, but you can take your car through a few areas down to the picnic area and the boat launch. So we'll show you what that looks like. And the entrance off of Walton Road in Port St. Lucie actually has a gift shop. Now, the Walton Road side, as opposed to the Route 1 side, is huge. It goes all the way from Jensen Beach in Martin County up to Fort Pierce, which is about 18 miles away. There are very, very few trails. They do provide some little trails and long trails so that people can get out and enjoy it and do some walking, hiking, and bike riding. Oh. Second thought, the park is closed today. Probably because of all the flooding we've been getting. Okay, so I just spoke to the guy who was working on the gate. The gift shop area is going to be opening at about 12:30. But as far as accessing down by the boat launch and kayak area and picnic area down towards that way, that part is actually closed. The road is flooded, and he said there's actually alligators that are swimming across the walkway. Okay, so I'm actually on Green River Drive right now, going through Port St. Lucie, and the area to the left that I'm driving is the Savannah Park that actually goes down to Jensen Beach. That part of the park is totally inaccessible to human traffic because it's a preserve area for the wildlife and mostly the sandhill cranes. But they did go ahead and provide this nice sidewalk area off to the left that you can actually ride your bike, walk your dogs on. This is the area off of Green River Drive. There's a reservoir that's actually up that way they're going to go to. It's already about 80 degrees. I got my water. Now, the one thing that upsets me a little bit about areas like this is the amount of trash that people just tend to throw. It really irritates me because I love these natural areas. I didn't take my DSLR with me today because when the sun came out, it's high noon time. It's not going to be best time for taking photos. Kind of liking this pond area. I may have to come back and actually take my DSLR and get some photos of this area early morning. Actually, probably more like late afternoon during sunset, because if I come early morning, the sun's going to be coming up from that side, which is going to be up over the trees and the causeway, so you won't see it. Whereas sunset, I should get some nice photos there. So we'll have to come back and see about taking some sunset photos across here. But for now, I'm just grabbing some photos with my cell phone for reference and see if I want to go ahead and possibly paint this little area. Towards the left, it gets a little bit more scenic with some of the scrub brush and pine trees coming up out of the water. Okay, so I got a few photos of this area here. The side off of Jensen Beach Boulevard. Behind me areas, we got some picnic tables, which I'm not going to film right now because somebody's having their lunch, so I don't want to disturb them. Now there are some walking trails through this side also, but unfortunately doesn't look like I'm going to be able to show you any of the little bit of trails that we do have going through here, and here's the reason why. Alright, so that one trail that I showed you that is flooded seems to be the only trail coming up off of this park area, so I'm going to go check out the other two areas of Savannas Park to see if they're underwater and or they're accessible as well. Looks like off of Indian River Drive, there's another section off of Riverview Drive that might have another access point where I can actually show you more of the preserve area and the wetlands. Okay, so I'm actually going to go ahead and take a couple of photos of my phone up through that area and off to that area. Really like how that works as a reference to see about going ahead and possibly doing some paintings with that. Alright, so we got some photos snapped in this area. See some really beautiful water lilies in bloom. Right behind me here, you see that this tree right here is all burnt. This is part of the controlled burn that they actually do to limit some of the underbrush that comes up and to actually be able to control wildfires more. What they do is they'll actually go ahead and burn all the ground down to practically nothing and then let it grow back up. Serves two purposes. One, so that they don't actually have all the underbrush that can dry out and lead to more forest fires caused by lightning. And also it helps to fertilize the ground and bring some more of those native species back. This behind me here, all this area, this is what I was hoping to show you over at the Walton Road access that was underwater that we couldn't get to. The Savannas Preserve is all open like this. It's all swamp, which is a wildlife preserve for different wildlife species, waterfowl, alligators, turtles, and fish. So the state's done a good job about actually preserving these areas for your use and for the protection of the environment. I see a couple more points where I want to go ahead and make another reference to photograph. I believe the causeway is off to the left-hand side that way, so it would be good to kind of get some sunset photos up through here. Okay, so we're at the Fort Pierce area. This is the recreation area and campground. It's actually part of Savannas Park, but they don't advertise it as such. We've got some picnic areas, and I guess you just kind of pull off to the side. I guess you just pull off to the side of the road here. So this is the Savannas recreation area up in Fort Pierce. It's actually part of the Savannas Preserve State Park, but not advertised as such. This part is actually advertised more of a park and campground type area with a dog park. So we're just gonna have a kind of look around here. Don't know how much is actually here to show you. And I kind of like how this bridge actually looks going over the canal, so I think I'll probably go ahead and get a picture of it for a reference point. Kind of like how that looks. Canalway runs all the way down there, and also runs up over here. Typical Florida canalway and river water is black. You can't see the bottom. Kind of liking how this looks with the Spanish moss hanging down, so I'm going to go ahead and grab a reference photo of that as well. So this tree behind me here looks like a pretty comfortable spot to sit and rest. Kind of like how that's growing like that. That's cool. I was hoping to get a better shot of the bridge with the Spanish moss hanging down, but unfortunately there is no way to get that shot. The bankway on the canal is just way too steep. This part here is actually the campground part of it. So the cool thing about Savannas Recreation Park is it's actually a campground that has a trading post if you need supplies. It has coin-operated laundry, flush toilets, and shower facilities. It does look like it's actually kept up pretty well. I was hoping there was going to be more here to see as far as walking trails, but apparently this is more of a campground, and that's why it's not advertised as part of the Savannas Preserve Park, but is actually within it. We're going to head over now to the Route 1 area of the Savannas Preserve where I started out this journey. This is the Savannas Preserve off of Route 1 in Port St. Lucie, otherwise known as the Evans area. The cranes you see in the distance is actually next door. They're actually building a big, looks like shopping center. So I don't know how that's going to look being close to the park like that. I don't know if I actually like it. Apparently there's no walking trails up in here either. This is primarily used for a kayak launch. Okay, so this is the Evans area. Looks like the clouds are coming back in, so I don't know if Mr. Alligator is going to be here or not. But they say there's an alligator that lives on the banks over here. So everywhere you go down here in Florida, if there's any water at all, there's a chance of alligators. So you gotta be careful. Oh, a rabbit. Let's try not to spook him. Mr. Bunny enjoying the sun over there. Try not to spookage him. Might actually be used to people. Now the pretty nice thing about this park is they give you a easy launch area for your kayak. Great for people to actually get in their kayak, sit down, get comfortable, and then use the rails to push themselves off. Alright, here's the instructions on how to actually use the launch. And then supposedly Mr. Alligator's supposed to sit right over there. But it's a cloudy day, so he's not sunning himself today. wondering why you can't snorkel in the rivers, here's the reason being. Because of the bottom, it's all tannic color and you can't see more than a foot in front of your face.